So like we're 3 months in, and like everything is pointing to like another live stream where it's just beat on Wings and Boogie. And I feel like we should be past that now, right? If all the content we have is being dogpiled on every week, I don't want to be a part of that.
Did it, boys. The Lolcow Live podcast is destroyed. The burning ashes are in front of Wings' face, and he couldn't be happier. Because he just can't take the criticism, everybody. He just can't do it no more. He can't take this shit no more. And it's pretty bizarre because Wings just can't come to terms with what he is in the internet / YouTube / social media ecosystem. He's a lolcow. He'll never break free of that. Some of the comments that he said in the past will follow him forever, and his response to them is always horrible, right? Because when he's presented with it, he tries to defend it in a weird way by saying, it's shock jock, guys. Come on, I was just a comedian. I was on your local radio station back in 1942 just spewing some hatred of some Europeans over there. That's all. I was just following orders. I mean, that's the thing that Wings is trying to push, and it's stupid because it should be as simple as, hey, Wings, you said this really grotesque thing about a kid like 10 years ago. Oh yeah, that was really dumb of me. I don't believe in what I said. Done. And then if the person keeps coming at you over and over and over and over and over again, then they look like the asshole. But Wings just can't comprehend that. He's too dumb. He thinks that he can break free of his lolcow sarcophagus, and it's just not going to happen, buddy. So what basically spurred this is a conversation with Ethan Ralph. As a note, I don't know a lot about Ethan Ralph, so I'm not going to focus on him too much throughout this video. Instead, I'm going to focus on what Boogie and Wings are saying. So that's the gist of it. Let's get into it.
You took a little creative liberties. That means a documentary is supposed to be based on truth, Boogie. It's not a fictional.
You might want to tell
program.
that to every documentary ever made. You might want to tell that to every reality TV show.
Are you a documentary expert now, Boogie?
Nope, but Mike Clemens.
No, he's not. He's a fucking LARPer on YouTube, just like you.
Well, all right. Now you have to take that up with Mike, Ralph.
Well, I mean, you both are liars. You admitted to faking the film.
Nobody said, no, like I said, everything in there's a seed.
Your
of
girlfriend was
Everything in
sending
there's a seed of truth.
scantily clad pics to some fat fucking Vegas.
Ain't nothing worse than she shows. I can't help the fact that she is fucking gorgeous.
You also can't help the fact that you're 30 years older than her and she looks like a little kid, bro. I mean, you and Boogie are never, or you and Wings are never escaping the allegations. I hate to break it to you. That's just the fact of the reality. And it's cute because I do think it's odd how much clout and respect Mike Klum has gotten, even though one of the two were either lying about the truth of what text and what numbers were put in the documentary, or two, they worked together to come up with that thing, and then when Boogie started getting backlash, he said, it's made up. We just made all that up. And it's like, well, are we supposed to respect Mike for that? I mean, I'm going to take Mike's side over Boogie's because I feel like Boogie is a habitual liar. But I haven't seen Mike come out and like try and defend any of these accusations that are coming post-documentary. So it looks really bad on both of them. And at the same time, I was even carrying water for Mike when the DSP documentary was getting talked about, because I was like, oh yeah, you know, he's gonna make Phil look good before the documentary comes out. That way he doesn't get kicked out. And obviously Phil is a spurg and got rid of it because he's a fucking man-child. But it's not looking great in my opinion about Mike. I like getting the extra content anyway, but for Boogie to pretend like, yes, you know, all documentaries, they're just sort of skewed pieces of information. You know, you just take a topic and it's like, whatever, I'll just say what I want. There are those out there, but the law of the land for a documentary should be almost as close to factual as possible. getting all the details as best as you possibly can. Now, it's hard, especially for like historical events and whatever, because the victors decide everything and you got conflicting reports on stuff, what's true, what's not, whatever. Boogie, you're still alive. So your documentary should be ironclad. It should be, yep, this is what happened. This is the numbers, these are the prescriptions I take, etc. Nah, we just fuck around with it. All right, buddy.
I support Adrian Blair. I support Amanda
Shut
Moore.
up!
I don't care who you support. Support whatever fucking slut you want to support.
When
Who
this
gives a
show
fuck?
started, Ralph, you started going after these guys. Why? Like, why did you start going after them?
Well, because I
How
don't
did it all
like them.
start?
They're not entertaining.
I know, but
He's upset
there
that we
anything
get more
else
views
to
Also,
than him.
Tommy C sucks. I will say you made the right choice getting rid of Tommy C, because he really did suck. So I will give you credit on that, Keem. And then you said, well, Ralph, you got to change the content of your show, and you can't say this, and you can't say that, and you can't do this and that.
I
Well,
literally
dude, that's
told
not me,
you that
man.
You can't say the N word and you can't say the F word, and you immediately
I don't
said
say the N word that often. I do say the F word pretty often. Well, you're talking to Wings and Boogie. Both these guys say the N word all the time. Keem, there's
No, I
clips
do
of
not.
you saying the
Yes,
N word.
once back in
Keem,
I said,
one of the most famous clips in internet history is you saying the N word repeatedly.
Yeah, 15
Again,
years ago.
context.
You were saying it
Yeah.
like 10
Again,
seconds
13
after I
years ago.
told you can't say it anymore.
It's just the sad fact of reality. I mean, whether or not your opinion about those two particular words or any words in that orbit of each other, whether or not you think it's fine to say or not, fact of the matter is, if you want to put on a air quote professional show that has sponsors attached to it, you can't be having people running hog wild, just willy-nilly releasing those dragon words out there. And, you know, you can pick and choose whether or not you like that, but that's just the truth. And Ralph was supposed to fight Boogie and Wings at some point, and there's back and forth. I really don't know who to trust here. It seems like we got like three fat idiots just spewing garbage at each other, and none of them really address anything that happens. And that's part of the problem with this entire podcast, is it's either Boogie and Wings just lie down and die as the guest just berates them and bashes them over the head with a baseball bat, or they go back and forth and say, nuh-uh, I didn't do that, you did that. Yeah, I'm showing you. It's like they have no humility and no ability to, they have no personality outside of this like cringe artard culture that they spew in all of their content. So the fact that the podcast fell apart doesn't surprise me, but it's just like you're bringing on like other weirdos to try and interact with other weirdos. It's like in a 1 in 100 shot, you might get a excellent live stream that's like, oh shit, this is going hard. And the other 99 are like, dear God, I can't stand this anymore.
Even
My job on PKA was to be entertaining and to be shock jockey.
Is that
It's kind of the same
entertaining?
role I do here. People
do
enjoy
people
that.
think that's entertaining? Let me just ask your chat.
17 years ago,
Press
yeah,
one.
people found that
Let me
entertaining,
ask
yeah.
your chat. Press 1 if it's entertaining to hear about a 14-year-old girl getting throat
You know
fucked
who's
by a
talking about it
horse.
more than I am right now? You are.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah,
bringing it up
because
more
it's,
than I
you're
am.
dead to rights, dude. Like, and there's way
Dead
more
to rights for
comments than
what?
that.
There's not way more comments.
There's way more
nothing.
comments than that.
There's nothing.
There's way more comments than that.
Let me ask you this.
You talking about
Where's-
fucking
where's
midgets
all-
because they look like children?
First off, let me talk about that. That's completely out of context. That's cut
Is
out.
it?
That was on my podcast called The Podcast Show, and we were asking what's the weirdest piece of porn you've ever seen, and mine was a midget fucking a she-male, and we went in to like why would you do that and how fucking gross would it be to have sex with a midget because they look like a child. These are left out.
Okay,
They cut
well, what
this
about
section of the video
Okay.
out.
All right.
And,
But
like,
what about the
and-
comment
and
about
then
the
we-
awning?
then-
You said you saw some children fucking under some awning or something like that.
That was well. First off, neither one of those videos you're talking about anybody's holding a license up.
Yeah, guys, come on. It can't be illegal if they didn't show a license proving that they're underage. Come on, guys, join my side. And this is part of the problem that I mentioned early on with Wings. This is a lose-lose argument that you're fighting for right here. Just say, yeah, you know, I thought this could be entertaining in the past. It's not now. I don't spew that type of rhetoric anymore, move on. And part of the problem is both these two idiots just shoot themselves in the foot nonstop. And so even if they say, yeah, you know, I don't talk about that anymore, but he brings it up all the time. He just can't help himself. I don't know why the trolls bringing it up gets under his skin so much, because it's like your reputation in a normal mainstream universe is already destroyed regardless. And the fact that you're going to sit here and still try and argue, well, actually, they left out context of that clip. Just say, it's gross. I don't agree with it. What's so hard about it? I just don't get it. Like, Wings always has to be right in these situations when there's not enough time in the day to try and convince these people. You know, if you're trying to fight against the bullies online that troll you, give them the little snippets that they use. You know, give them the 5-10 second clips that they can have of you saying, yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree with me saying this thing. And if they clip you out of context there, then it's on them. But he just like spins his tires in mud nonstop. It's like infuriating to listen to.
Real quick. Ralph wants to know, can I fuck you?
Yeah.
There you go, Ralph.
I mean, there's a sex offender registry, and I'm not on it. So.
Yeah, you may not be on it yet. Let's wait a year, see how it plays out.
You got a lot of fucking nerve. Your dad jacked you off, Boogie.
Boogie's argument anytime that, you know, Blade is on the stream and it's like, well, I'm not gonna die before you, and Boogie's retort is, yeah, we'll see about that in a year. Yeah, we'll see that. Mr. Hotshot, Mr. Quips coming right back at you guys. You think you're gonna get away with that? Boogie's on the scene. He's saying, nuh-uh, let's see you in a year, buddy. Yeah, okay. Have fun having sex with your... I can't even say the grotesque things I want to say in relation to Boogie's underage-looking girlfriend. It's revolting. Anybody that condones or accepts it based solely on the idea of, oh, she's over 18, you're a fucking troglodyte. Your brain is made of mush. This man loves taking advantage of little ones, and that's why him and Wings are always so buddy-buddy with each other. They're on the same side. They're spewing the same shit. It's not all shock jock humor, buddy. And part of it, too, is like, okay, shock jock humor, you're doing like a podcast. You're doing a live stream, right? It's not like it's oh yeah, we were doing some skit and my character said something really offhand, really off kilter. It's not like old Shane Dawson videos, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking, yeah, he had an entire segment of 30 minutes of him talking about this gross stuff. And they're trying to zing Ralph here or there. My only comment about Ethan Ralph, once again, as I've said, I know basically nothing about him. I'm not taking a side on anything. I'm looking strictly at the two other bozos on the screen and talking about them. I know him based off of some of the clips I've seen with him and Mr. Menaker, and I know that his whole argument this entire stream is, well, I can't talk about it, guys. I can't say anything. I'm in court situations about that. What I will say is, it's odd if you're in all these different court predicaments with these women and you just up and chose to move away to Mexico. Seems a bit odd, you know? Are you banking on the idea that you won't get extradited by the Mexican government because they're more lax on that? I don't know, you know? It's just, I'm spitballing things here. I just think it's odd, Mr. Ralph.
Very easily, like, people just coming in here could hit the like button. It takes no time. It costs nothing. It would make me feel better about myself. You know how shitty it is to, like, go back through your videos and just see 400 videos of just dislikes? I've already dropped the podcast. I quit Lolcow podcast just now. No. I'm going to do my live streams and lock everything back down and just be boring as fuck again. Alright, so any further talk about Lolcow will result in a ban from this point on. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put Lolcow on the banned word list.
And this is the pathetic homunculus that we're stuck with, that is Wings of Redemption, where just like the camping trip, and who would have thought that 10 years later after the camping trip that it would still be haunting Wings to this day, where he can't escape the fact that he can't follow through with commitment. He can't, keep his word about following through with anything. So instead, he's just going to send a pussy-footed message in the group chat and say, actually, guys, I can't take people being mean to me on the chats anymore, and I'm just going to leave. Goodbye. And then he just leaves all the chats, deletes all the logs, deletes all the tweets related to it. It's just so pathetic. And, like, it's funny because I know this is coming after the whole discussion about the girlfriends and wives and whatever they're doing, and it's like, it's no surprise both these guys exude zero masculine energy at all. And it's not just because they're fat, it's not just because they're bald and dumb and ugly. There's plenty of reasons why a typical woman would never find any attraction to these people, and that's why they're stuck with these broken hearted women who just feel like they're worthless scum and have to succumb to this. That's the fact of the matter. You're living in a loveless marriage in both directions, and whatever, Wings, you choose you, but you can't simultaneously say that this is your career and this is what you want to be doing, and then pretend like it's gonna somehow exist at some point without trolls. You're on the path of having to go work as a gas station clerk at Speedway down the road. That's what you're stuck with, because the trolls make up 90% of your community. If you sit there and play Dark Souls and get 150 viewers, that might be, I don't know, 2/3 of your audience right there, and you're just gonna be stuck with that. So make your decisions, and it sounds like you already have, but it's sad seeing an old dog that just got hit by a car laying on the side of the curb.
I quit the Lolcow podcast because I had concerns that weren't being met. When I started Lolcow podcast, I didn't want trolling to start back up and get into my life. And the Keem has this policy that all comments are good comments regardless of what they say. And every time I reached out to Keem, he would just blow it off. Like he goes and disregard my concerns. And it got to the point where it was affecting my mental health and other things in my life. And I basically asked, I basically put an ultimatum out there where it's like, we either start doing this or I'm going to step out. And then it got ignored for probably a day and a half. And I feel like I'm owed about $1,350. I feel like they owe me that based on everything I've done. But to this point, I've not made any money yet. So I said I quit. I left all the groups. I retweeted all the tweets, deleted all the tweets I made, and here we are. And that's where we stand right now. If they want me back, a couple concessions had to be made. If they don't want me back, they can always fill my spot. Either way, it was a pleasure working with them. I got nothing bad to say about anybody with Lolcow. Other than that, we didn't agree on how certain things should be handled. But I'd much rather have my life simpler without a bunch of heartache.
Basically, all this mumbo jumbo that Wings is trying to say here is that the trolls are mean. And Keemstar, I want you to ban them. I want you to get rid of them. I want them to be like my chat, where I'm constantly banning and blacklisting words that can't be said in chat. Please, Keemstar, eradicate these people from our chat. I can't be seeing the hate coming my way. And the funny thing is, Wings, how much of a boneheaded moron are you? So many people like me, not the major trolls in your community, but so many people were starting to see you as this character who was kind of even keel on the podcast, quipped some funny things here or there, and you move on. Most of us saw Boogie as being a huge issue. We saw Tommy C as being lazy and boring and uninteresting. And Wings, you were there, and you were at least milquetoast for people. You were at least right down the middle. And you're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot and put this horrible perception of you out there once again of, well, gee whiz, we're getting people on here who are being mean to me. Why is that happening? I'm such a good guy. And you can say, yeah, I'm sick and tired of talking about stuff that I said 10, 15 years ago. But that's what you're known for, dude. You're not fucking PewDiePie out here. You're not Syndicate, you know? You're not one of these major mainstream characters. You're basically existing in your own small corner of the internet because you blew up in popularity 15 years ago. And you've been trying to ride that wave all the way till now, and you're basically at low tide sitting on the rocks with no water beneath you. That's the point you've reached at, and your tiny brain doesn't comprehend that. And that's fine. That's fine. If you want to be a recluse, you want to have your own community that you moderate and no trolling gets in and it's better for you that way, that's cool. But don't try and twist it in some way of, well, I just wasn't being heard. I wasn't being understood. You were being heard. You were being listened to, but that's not how this thing works with you, bro. You're not this savant of the internet. They'll move on and they'll find some other fat guy to fill your role.
Again, it's got nothing to do with facing the truth. Like, all the stuff you're trying to tell me is me facing the truth is something I've already faced for the last 8 years. And at this point, the punishment doesn't fit the crime, right? I've already apologized for it. I've apologized it in a public forum, the New York Times. I've apologized for it on public TV, magazines, Twitch, YouTube, and podcasts. If you haven't seen one of my apologies yet, that's on you. That's not on me. I regret doing it. It was a dumb thing to say. I was young, dumb, and didn't think about what I was saying at the time. I don't agree with the things I said in the past. And if you haven't seen an apology yet, here, let me apologize for you now. I apologize for saying stupid things. But I can't undo that. And I do not feel as that the punishment should be continually and everlasting for simple words.
And there's two avenues you can go about this, Wings. You can be somebody like Jay Schlatt, per se, right? A guy who makes controversial statements. Does he believe them? Does he not? It's hard to kind of tell. But the guy does not take an ounce of time to focus on the people saying, well, that's offensive. What you said is offensive to me. I'm going to cancel you. They've tried to do that a million times. And on the other side, you have somebody like Dream, who bends the knee every single time somebody comes up and says, whoa, what you said is out of line, buddy. All right, we can't be having that going down over here. And it also doesn't help, Wings, that your apologies are thin. They have no content to them. You just saying a blanket statement of, I'm sorry that I said offensive things before. I don't say offensive things now. I don't believe in the offensive things I did say. What the fuck type of apology is that? That's like when your mom makes you go apologize to your brother for pushing him down the stairs, and you actually don't feel that bad about pushing him down the stairs, but you say sorry because you have to, otherwise your dad's gonna spank you. That's the type of thing going on here. If you went line by line and said, here's the thing I said, here's why it's dumb, and here's why I don't believe in it. Another thing I said that was dumb that people bring up and I don't believe it, etc. And just make a single video about that. Right or wrong, whether or not people are going to accept it, at least it's not some half-assed, sorry guys, I feel bad about this now.
Yet you have gotten weight. See, you look at it only as the scale. You're not looking at it as you're walking, you're losing fat cells. Like, you care about the weight number. You shouldn't care about the number. You should care about how you feel and how your clothes fit you. You have dropped fat cells and gained muscle.
Well, I'm also trying to drop fat cells now, apparently, since I'm sweating.
Because, like, what you don't understand is, like, you're eating 60 plus grams of protein a day. You're walking. You're going to be building muscle. Muscle is going to split and cause you to gain weight. But at the same time, you're going to be losing fat cells.
By the way, I'm also cooking vegetable beef soup.
Cool. The podcast can still work. And I'd still be open to do the podcast part of it and just sit off the live streams. Because I like working with Boogie and Tommy, and I like working with Keemstar, but like, I don't want to be a part of that. Let's dogpile every week in and week out. There's got to be concessions. Like what's happening right now, it's not good long term. Like, and I'm not gonna let it get to the point where it's like, okay, this is draining me.
Watching the blind lead the blind. You know, big ups to Kelly for taking initiative to try and lose weight. Hopefully her surgery works out better than Wings, but why would you ever listen to Wings' opinion about weight or food or anything ever? Because he is a dumbass. He failed. He's a failure. You're looking at him right now. He's a loser failure. Don't listen to anything that the dude's saying. Look at your scale, see if the scale's moving, and it doesn't have to be day by day. It can be week by week. And as long as there's some progress being moved forward, if you're feeling stronger when you're going outside, if you're going to the gym maybe, then yeah, there's some benefits. But at your weight, you should be losing weight regardless, even if you're building muscle, right? Even if you're eating better, you should be losing weight. You might retain some water. It's a whole thing, but you should see week to week some amount of weight loss. At the very least, you should not be going up, right? Wings doesn't understand that. He's a failure, he's a moron, and he's going to throw away any opportunity that he gets. Unfortunately for Kelly, she feels like this is the only opportunity she gets, so she's stuck with it. Oh well. Either way, Lolcow podcast basically dead. I don't know who they're going to bring in to make it even half watchable at this point, because it seems like all three of them are gone and Keemstar's just going to get a new roster. Who knows? But I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.